Shakalaka.
That's right.
We said boo because it's Halloween, everyone. And I wore a costume. We're both dressed in black. How appropriate, right?
Okay.
Happy Halloween and boom shakalaka. Welcome to Ms. Rocki and Chaveevah Live.
Because there's always, always something good going on the North End and everywhere else in the Cedar Valley, Rocki.
Yes, indeed. And we know this because we've been around for a minute and we've been checking it all out. We went even yesterday. We went to the Soul Book Nook.
Yes, yes, right over there on East 4th Street.
Yeah, so we've been getting around socially distant. You know, we know there's a pandemic out there, everyone, and you want to be safe. Of course, we have our masks
That's
here
right.
today.
We make sure that we're equipped with our masks, hand sanitizer, social distancing, all those kinds of things. Because as much as you know, you do need to take care of you. I mean, get around and do things. You still have to take care of yourself and avoid the germs as much as possible.
Right, right. And we're a hot spot now, so we're taking it very, very seriously, and we certainly hope you are as well. We've got a great guest today.
Yes, we absolutely do. We have Emma Stoffer is going to be joining us and talking about her research. Young lady who's a student at University of Northern Iowa, and we look forward to having a good conversation with her.
Right. She's kind of been digging through some cemetery files.
Yes.
Okay. So we also have our Waterloo Proud, Margot's Waterloo Proud History Moment. We're going to talk to you right now about that because we know you want to find the answer so you can win a
da 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 da.
Beautiful Boom Shakalaka cup.
There you go.
So, Chaveevah, why don't you tell our viewers what the question is today about our Waterloo Proud person?
Yes, absolutely. Who is the first African-American male elected to the Iowa House of Representatives? Now, you might think that it's Ross Smith. No, not at all. And the hint is at the time he was elected, he was a Waterloo school teacher who taught at McKinstry Junior High. So, if you can answer that question, you'd be the proud owner of a beautiful Boom Shakalaka cup. Hey.
Right, exactly. And there's even a picture of him. So I don't know what years did it say?
Yes, it said what years.
Okay, so we'll say the years, okay, because that picture is kind of dated. And for those of you that know that date of a picture that looks like kind of like that, it was 1965 and 67. And yeah, we thank Margot for looking all that up. And actually, some of the stuff she just looks up because she already knew it.
Yeah.
You know, she just wants to get
just
the
to
details.
put facts. So we want to say congratulations to last week's winner, Terry Smith.
Yes. Indeed. Congratulations. Terry won last week a copy of Ropes in the Kitchen, which is the novel autobiography that I wrote. And actually, if you want to read about some of the people that are being the strolling through the spirits thing this weekend, two of them are in my book. So, and that's also available at the Grout Museum now. So get your copy of Ropes in the Kitchen and also go to that Strolling with the Spirits celebration, Chaveevah.
Absolutely. It's going to be this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. If anyone has ever been to the live version and know just how informative and how cool of an experience that is, you get a chance to do that online.
Yeah, you can be in the comfort of your living room with your fire and your hot chocolate and
that's right,
everything ready to watch.
And not shivering in the cold.
Right, and there's some awesome people portraying some awesome people. Who are they, Chaveevah?
Yeah, actually, Abraham Funches and India Johnson are going to be portraying Dr. Ferguson, and Lily Ferguson was the first teacher, African-American teacher. And
oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
I think so. And
Okay.
Shuaib Meacham is going to be portraying Walter Cunningham.
Yes,
so,
Dr. Walter Cunningham. And of course, I'm portraying my grandmother, Gwendolyn Hickey.
That's right.
One of the first African-American nurses, and that was an honor to do that out in the freezing cold. And then there's someone else. Who else are we missing? A young man that's Carson's friend.
Okay.
That's playing some. Oh, that young man. Who's the soldier, Chaveevah, that we learned so much about?
Staff Sergeant.
Oh, look at her. Agnes has everybody ready.
Okay, awesome.
Staff Sergeant Bell.
Yep.
Yeah, where is that on the notes?
I'm looking. This is a shame. I wrote the notes and I can't even find it.
Okay, Staff Sergeant Bell, we learned a lot about him yesterday. Watch our video that's on our wall because you can learn all about this guy who I had no idea he was even a Waterloo resident, never heard of him.
Right.
So kudos to Grout Museum, who's recognizing African Americans this year in, I think, 3 or 4 different cemeteries. And that's kind of a twist. I mean, they've always been inclusive with black people, but this year everybody's black, you know, all of the people that are being remembered. So it's just kind of like that time, I think.
Yep, and I think that's also pretty cool how they're covering so many different cemeteries. So for people who are going to be joining that and watching it virtually, you are not only saving yourself from the elements, you're saving yourself some steps as far as traveling back and forth.
Right. And they've done some special effects. Great way to go, Carson, and everybody over there at Grout, Billy and everybody. Okay, celebrating sisterhood. We're going to be the hosts of that conference, which is tomorrow.
Yes. My presence has purpose. My purpose has power. That is the theme of the conference tomorrow, and that will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's free to any woman who would like to participate. You can register as late as tomorrow before it's time for the event to start. And if you want any more information, by all means, look on our website or at Celebrate Sisterhood Ministries and get the information that you need to join the
That's right. That's going to be so much fun and so empowering. You know, just talking to Vera, we practiced a little bit yesterday, and she is just so spiritual and so empowering. I feel, you know, just talking about some of the biblical scriptures that we'll be going over was just soul food. You know, it was something that you need to hear.
Yep, she just has that kind of presence that makes you feel welcome, and you want to listen to what she has to say. So.
Exactly.
Power
to the people with Reverend Belinda Creighton Smith will be the powerful speaker for a digital rally held by the NAACP on November 1st from 12 noon to 4 p.m. So keep that in mind as well. We have that on our wall as well.
Yes, and on Facebook, keep up with the Waterloo Change Agents page. If you want to be informed about what's going on with community events, fundraisers, webinars, marches, all those sorts of things, that's where you can get your information.
Right. Or you can watch our show because we talk a whole lot in the beginning of the show.
That's
Seriously,
right.
like what we're doing right now.
You miss it one place, you're going to get it here. There you go.
Right. Ed, do you think we have any comments? Or Chaveevah, are you up doing, is anybody looking? Nobody? Okay. Super duper. We want to talk about our Friday One Way tonight. We've got the Ben Grimm Smith.
Yep, of Iodine Art. He's going to be featuring some of his shirts, T-shirts, wearable art, and also some of his art. So last week, who did we have?
We had Loud Boutique.
That's right, Blaine Scott from Loud Boutique. So if you are a designer, a store owner, or just a talented person who's got some fashions that you would like to have showcased, please get in touch with India Johnson and get in the lineup. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a great way for us to get together virtually and do some things despite COVID. We got to live with it, so.
Right. We got a great big area in the Jubilee Freedom Center there at 1621 East 4th Street. And it's just a big, spacious room, and we can look at all of his art that he brings and be safe, you know. So if there's things that you can do safely, by all means, you don't want, you know, there's COVID fatigue. We understand people are getting reckless. Don't do that. But we also want to live. So make sure that you get out safely and do some things.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our Give It Air today. And our Give It Air, Chaveevah, is about, what are we saying? What are we talking about? Blackface, because it's
Yes.
Halloween.
Yes.
We want to reiterate that if you're tempted to do blackface, don't do it.
Right. We'll just call that our public service announcement for Halloween. Blackface, just say no. And the reason why, the best reason I could think of, I mean, you know, people might think, oh, well, hey, you know, I can do whatever I want to do. People, no one should tell me blah, blah, we. But if you really think about it, a person's skin color is not a costume.
Exactly.
So that's the objection, really.
Exactly. Just be respectful in that matter. And if you think that maybe it would enhance your costume by, like, say, for instance, you want to be Beyonce and Jay-Z this Halloween, painting your face black or brown would not enhance your costume. It would just be offensive. So don't do it.
Yeah, just put on the Beyonce and Jay-Z clothes. You can do that.
Right, you can
and
do
we'd
that.
still know that that's who you're supposed to be.
Right, and I saw Al Roker, he dressed up as like Benjamin Franklin today on the Today Show, and I didn't think he painted his face white, so I guess it's the same difference. I knew who he was.
Exactly. There you go. That's
So
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
we want to just reiterate that, but some of them people are going to do it anyway for fun, so we'll just say you're offensive.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, get out and vote.
All right, yes. Moving right along. Yeah.
We want you to vote, you know, because this is the most important election of the year. We don't get political.
Yes, and this is that last little push. The big day, as you know, is Tuesday, November 3rd, but you can still vote early at the courthouse Friday from 8 to 4:30, Saturday from 8 to 5, Monday from 8 to 5, and then Tuesday. Boom. So by all means, get out there, do it. Vote. Your vote does make a difference.
Yes, boom, shakalaka.
All
Vote.
the time.
Exactly, vote for sure. Shout out to our crew.
Oh, yes, that's
Our
right.
crew rocks.
Yes, all the time.
Look at all the graphics, and Ed even brought his daughter. It's Ed's daughter that's our guest today, you know, and she's pretty cool too.
Yes.
We got to shout out to them. They're always helping us out. Watch us on YouTube. Just type in North End Update or Rocki, R-O-C-K-I, in Chaveevah.
Yep, and it'll pop right up. See, there you go.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And what else we got, Chaveevah? The Soul Town. Where's Emma?
Right there, right after.
Okay.
There you go.
Our notes are a little mixed up today. And whose fault is that? Chaveevah's fault.
Okay. So next time, okay, you start making them. That way I can talk about your notes.
There you go. Okay. You know what? The change that's coming is in this young woman.
That's right. When we talk about change, we're talking about the change that we would like to see in society. Looking at, questioning, and checking on things that people may have overlooked or that may have gone unspoken, you know, but it's a new generation and people are looking more deeply at stuff.
Right, right.
For answers.
And so we're really happy to introduce this UNI student who's a junior at the University of Northern Iowa. And she has a research paper that we're just interested in. Welcome,
Yes, welcome.
Emma.
Emma.
Stoffer. Yes, hello. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate you looking a little deeper. And, you know, there's no pun intended here, but digging a little deeper into the cemetery records. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a junior at UNI. I'm an English education major, but I'm a Waterloo native, and so I started looking into the cemeteries after we adopted a dog, and so I would walk him to the cemeteries.
What's the connection there?
So I would walk him through the cemeteries because we live next door to one, and so it got me thinking about the history of our cemeteries in Waterloo, because we do seem to have a lot of them for being not quite a huge city. So I'm like, why would we have so many? And so I started looking into their establishment dates, and there was a discrepancy between the dates that the gates say and the dates that are in the newspapers.
Really?
And so I found that really intriguing and then had to just keep going.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to get into that a little bit more, but it's so, and I thought it was a project that you were doing. We're going to ask you some more questions about that, but we got to ask you the #1 question that we ask everybody that comes on our show. And you know you're going to get to sing, right? She has a solo, everybody. So, and do you have a good cemetery song for Halloween?
I don't. No,
You
I
didn't
don't know
prepare?
No, I don't know any
Emma.
cemetery songs.
Oh my goodness, we'll have to make up a cemetery song. It's Halloween.
3 words, Emma. Pulling your leg.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but we do have a trick question for you, and that is, do you subscribe to the Soul Town?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh, Emma, honey, you got to know about the Soul Town. Tell her, Chaveevah.
Yes, the Soul Town. We have great things to say about this publication every week. It was started right here in Waterloo by a young woman named Cherie Kaba. It features stories that are of interest locally and nationwide, actually, because she's got writers from everywhere. And it is things that are of interest to a cyber community because it's really worldwide at this point. There are advice columnists, there are opinion stories. This month, again, is a tribute to the actor Chad Boseman, who recently passed. Just all kinds of beautiful stories, and like I said, the advice people are sometimes really funny.
What is the question this month? I saw one of them, and I just thought it was.
Okay, yeah, because I like Steve. Ask Steve.
Okay.
Where is he?
And Emma, you know, another thing about the Soul Town is if, like, say, for instance, you missed our show one Friday, which I know you would never do.
Of course not.
Then you could you could actually get your virtual copy and press play and watch it right there in the Soul Town. And the subscriptions are very affordable. And Chaveevah, do you have this question from
this question for Steve this month was, Halloween is on the horizon. I want to dress up as the Black Panther. I realize the character and the actor is a black male. I am a white female, and I am gay. Do you feel as though this will be offensive or considered cultural misappropriation? So, that's a whole big mouthful.
Well, that's kind of going in line with what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I guess if you had a mask, what's
it
the
sparks
difference?
discussion, and that was one of the really important things, and all of the advice columnists chimed in as far as with their opinions. But if you want to know what those opinions are, you got to get the Soul Town.
Get the Soul Town. Yeah, that's a mystery in itself. All right. Well, that's good. And you can get your Soul Town at thesoultown.com. Hopefully we'll get an answer to our question. Why don't we repeat it one time for our Margot's question?
Yes.
Before we start getting into Emma's business.
Okay, yes, once again. Who is the first African-American male elected to the Iowa House of Representatives? At the time he was elected, he was a Waterloo school teacher who taught at McKinstry Junior High, and his tenure was 1965 to 1967.
Right.
So that's a lot of information.
And a picture.
There you
Get
go.
on Google. Win yourself a
Yeah.
cup. Okay, so we're going to talk to you, Emma. So you started researching the cemeteries. We have so many, and it's not really a big town. So that sparked your interest.
Yeah, it did. It was really curious to me that we would have so many, especially because none of them seemed directly tied with any particular part of the town. So, like, originally cemeteries were right next to churches, and we don't see that in Waterloo. There aren't any. And so through my research, I discovered there was a movement to create these garden-like cemeteries, which is what Waterloo has.
When was that?
Oh, early 19th century.
Oh,
So what happened
wow.
was people started to research the effects that putting bodies in the middle of town might have, especially after yellow fever epidemics. And so this is where things connected, because I'm like, oh, maybe Waterloo had a pandemic before, and so that's why they needed a new cemetery. But that didn't go anywhere. So I'm like, okay, so that wasn't it, so we have to keep going. But eventually it came down to where the people in town at the time decided that the cemetery we had originally started with, which is the Waterloo Cemetery on Kimball, was too far out of town. So they wanted a new cemetery that was closer to town so that they could visit their loved ones easier.
And where did the town, I mean, I probably should know this, but where did our town start? I mean, were we right in the middle, like right around Mullen and?
Yeah, right around the river.
Right
and
around
so
the
it grew
river.
out from there because I went looking through maps after maps after maps to try and figure out how the town developed.
Wow, so that's where we started. So where was the first one then?
The first cemetery is on Kimball Avenue between Mitchell and Ridgeway. And so.
And that was the one that was too far? Or
Yeah,
that was,
they decided that one was too far out of town. It
And
was
then
getting
what?
overgrown. And so they decided to create Elmwood Cemetery.
that was far away from the river too, though.
Yeah, it's only 2 miles away from the Waterloo Cemetery. And so I was like, okay. And they also at the same time had developers come in from Waverly to build Fairview Cemetery on the other side of the river.
So
And-
now, with the creation of that new cemetery, whatever, was it closer? I mean, was it in town? Was it on the outskirts of what used to be Waterloo at that time?
Elmwood was still about a mile out of town, I think is what the newspaper article said. And this was because it would it was closer to town, but it also keep the area quiet so that they'd still have their sort of like serene, peaceful
right.
sort of cemetery that you expect.
So Emma,
Mhm.
key question. That was, okay, so that you're saying 1798, 1800?
It was 1878, around the 1870s.
1878. Okay, so black people came.
Yes.
Then we had a problem. Okay, talk about that.
Yeah. and
Or the perceived problem, right?
yeah.
They figured they better be segregated, or maybe it would rub off under the ground or something, right? Okay.
So in doing my research, I found this map that the Iowa Genealogical Society had like sketched out. And in each section of the cemetery is plotted, so you had your big wealthy sections that where all the original founders were. And in the very back of Fairview Cemetery, there was a section labeled BLK.
Really?
I was like, what could those letters stand for if not a black section? And so, but there's no documents other than that single map that support that. And so I've been on a mission to sort of find something that shows it. And so I've been speaking to professors at the university and other people in the community, and I've been told to contact the funeral homes and the black churches in the area to see what they would know.
Do you think that was just the way things were done, period? I mean, in death as in life, as far as the segregation. So.
And you know, one thing that I've always found different and strange that when I learned, because I guess I'm naive, but I was working at Viking Pump for about probably 2 years, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she had been married to a Mexican man, and she was telling me how they were discriminated against. And I never thought, you know, I was thinking this is how naive I was, Mexican people have lighter, fairer skin. I didn't know they were discriminated against. Of course, now I know. But so Jewish people, I wonder, is there a section for Jewish people and other people that were discriminated against?
A professor I spoke to said that next to the black section in Fairview, there's a Greek section in the area as well, though I haven't gone looking for that quite yet. But the Jewish community in the early 1900s, like really about 1901, 1904, approached the Fairview Cemetery with buying a plot of land to use separately. And eventually what they did is they have their own cemetery entirely on the east side. And so my professor said that the two religions, like Jewish and Catholic, they tend to have their own cemeteries. So like we have separate Catholic cemeteries in Waterloo.
And that's always baffled me too, you know, how people would discriminate because of your religion that hard. Now you're all white people, and you get and you're mad at the other person because you're not, you know, good enough because of your religion. And so, yeah, it's just crazy. It must be nature of the beast for people to
Yeah, I was going to say hierarchy must just be part of the human experience, you know.
Right. In my family, that was the big story. Before my mother crossed the color line, that was the big story on the white side of my family, that Grandpa Taylor married Grandma Niemeyer, and she was Catholic, and he left the Amish church. And I'm like, ooh. No. So, okay. Well, that is just so amazing, and you uncovered quite a bit. And what did you gather from all this? And did it gradually start to change? Obviously, it did, but when did that happen? Can you?
So for it to start as just this personal project, and then it became something I felt like needed to be shared. And so that's been a process now where I'm getting involved more with the library, and then I'm having an article published in Magpie magazine.
Yes, congratulations on that.
Yes.
And then now my professor thinks I could make a book out of it and take it that much farther.
Well, amazing. What do we think, Chaveevah?
Absolutely. My next question, I mean, just from that, I know you mentioned before that you're going to study for your master's degree, right? So this is research that I'm just assuming you're going to extend further to the next level. Yeah.
I'm thinking I might branch out of Waterloo even and start studying different cemeteries in Black Hawk County. And then from there, like, who knows where it'll go.
Wow, that is amazing. And Emma, you really inspired us. And for you to actually, you know, put your feet to the ground like that from your own interests and stuff, we just think that's amazing. And we're going to give you this wonderful coffee cup.
Thank you.
You're one of our women who inspires, a young woman that's got her mindset, you know. And so what do you think now after your discovery? And I know you're a cultured person because we know your daddy, and he's a pretty cool guy too. Do you think, what are your ideas about systemic racism? Would you imagine that it exists?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I was actually, for one of my social foundations course that you and I, we were talking about how schools have started to resegregate just by practice, and how interesting that is, that there are arguments and articles that show that segregation or desegregation peaked in the 1970s.
Right.
And we've seen it increase since then because of suburbia and whatnot. And so I found these articles really interesting and actually wrote a paper about them for school.
Wow.
But,
See, change is going to come, Chaveevah.
Yes, absolutely.
Every time your heart beats, there's somebody like Emma that's looking at things differently, you know, and changing the views.
Yep, and I think just one more thing, just in closing, as far as that, one thing I really appreciate about the research that you're doing, it wasn't until I came to Iowa that I found that people really have an interest in cemeteries and headstones and stuff, and sort of demystifying that and recognizing that's as much a part of life. You know, we say death is just another part of life. So I appreciate that too, instead of it made to seem something creepy or scary.
Right, right. And thank you so much, Emma. And Grout Museum, are you going to watch the tour?
Oh, for sure.
I know, with all the cemetery stuff, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Super duper. Well, we get to sing because we got some birthday people that have been waiting to hear Emma's solo voice. And we have some comments first.
Yes, we
Maybe
do.
we got a winner.
No winners yet, but we do have some comments. So Stephen Critterhouse Buckles about the cemetery says the Waterloo Cemetery is where his mom is buried, overlooking their old house. He also commented that he helped build the tower at the back of the Garden of Memories in
oh, yeah.
in
Oh,
Waterloo.
really?
Garden of Memories, Waterloo, back in the summer of '66.
Wow. We love you,
Dale
Steve.
loves your hair, Chaveevah. And she says, boom shakalaka, ladies.
Boom shakalaka. And thank you, Steve, for that comment. Steve Buckles is a really cool guy, too. He, I met him at Bridges. He used to work there, drive the bus. Good guy. Hi, Steve. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
And Lori, what about me? Okay, we're going to sing happy birthday to Yakubu Agbese, Al Omar LaFleur Sr., Alicia Kane Hunt, Nicole Dillard, Linda Murray, Gary Leahy, and Cora Turner. Hey, G.
All right, yes, also happy birthday to Deborah Saffold, Russell Spencer, Mary McCall, Betts Joe Jacob, Tim Durham, Eric Lillis, and Chemo Falafula.
Falala. What is it?
Chemo Falafula.
Oh,
Yes.
I messed his name up. Kilo. Say it again,
Chemo
Chaveevah.
Falafula.
I wanna say
I
it
remember
right.
this young man's name because he went to school with my kids. And so he's like, we're not making fun of your name.
No, we're not.
We just think your name is cool.
Falafula. I just wanted
And
to
happy
say
birthday.
it. Don't you want to
Yes.
say it, Emma?
Chemo
Chemo
Falafula.
Yeah, happy birthday. Okay, it is a nice name. It kind of rolls off your tongue once you get it right.
Absolutely. Yes.
So do you know the Stevie Wonder version of Happy Birthday?
I don't think so, no. I just know typical happy birthday.
Okay, but this is really easy to follow. And I'm sure you would agree
It couldn't fit more perfectly
than to have a world party.
on the day you came to be.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Yay! All right. Clap loud, Emma. Clap a little longer. There you go. We want to celebrate. It's a great day. Are you doing any trick-or-treating this year?
No, I will actually be at work on Halloween night, so we'll see. We do get to dress up in costume at work, so I'm excited for that.
That sounds like fun.
Well, I'm sure you won't be scary. You'll be the good witch.
I'm going as the little black cat.
Oh,
so, yep.
Yep, with the cat theme. I get it. Okay. She says she's a cat lover. Me
Yes.
too. I got cat-eye glasses, and I think it's time to say goodbye. And if all hearts and minds are clear. Can anybody take me seriously with these?
Not really.
Okay, until next time, keep doing more of what makes you awesome, like Emma.
Yes, indeed, because it makes us all look good.
See you next week.